Holly, I'm so excited to be chatting with you and congratulations on your EP release day.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be chatting with you.
Thank you for making time on such an important day. How is it going for you so far?
Okay, I'm having like the chillest day at home with my sisters, and yeah, I'm just really happy that the music is like finally out. I feel like I've had these songs for like a little while now, and they're all like really important songs to me that like I've been wanting to share for like such a long time. So yeah, I'm just excited that they're finally out and people can listen to them finally, and yeah, so good.
It's interesting for me because I know growing up, all my favorite artists were older than me. And so I'd be like, oh, I'll relate to that song like one day. And now I'm older than
Mhm.
all the artists that I love. But it's amazing how I listen to your music and I'm still like, yes, I'm still living this life. Like it still connects with me so much. Um,
Yeah.
I just
Oh my
think you're
God.
such a beautiful songwriter.
Thank
But
you. That's so lovely.
this EP is so like it's a short EP, but I just like it feels so expansive. It feels like it goes on forever. Did you have more songs you wrote, or was this like you knew this was going to be the EP?
I had like more songs that I wrote, but I think I know pretty much straight away whether a song is going to be released or not.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, I wrote like I basically I'm not like inspired like a lot of the time. I kind of just have to wait for inspiration to come to me. So
Mm-hmm.
these songs kind of all came at once, like in a really short period of time. Kind of yeah, it was a really weird like few months. I just sort of moved away from home, and I moved into like a tiny little flat in London, and nothing was like really familiar to how my life had been before. Like I didn't have any friends down here. I'd never lived in London before, so everything was kind of scary and new. And yeah, I just found that like going into the studio to write about everything, like all the changes that I was going through, was my only kind of way of like processing it all, and my only way of like figuring out like how to deal with situations that I've never experienced before. Yeah, I feel like I'm in such an awkward age kind of right now where I'm just sort of in between being like a kid and then actually having responsibilities. But like I feel like you probably, like you said, you used to relate to this. So I feel like I'll probably always feel like this. Like you probably never grow out of feeling like that. Um, but yeah, it's weird. Like the songs were like little diary entries for me during that time. So yeah, when I listen back, I just kind of get transported to how I was feeling back then when I wrote them.
Well, I feel like it's also, I mean, the pandemic, I feel like going through those years is also difficult because you kind of have 2 years of your life where you could kind of still be young and do all these things. And it's almost like you come out at a different age in a different time of your life. So
Yeah,
it's,
it really was like that. Like going into the pandemic, I hadn't released. I think I think Deep End came out a couple weeks before we went into the lockdown here in the UK.
mhm.
So I was pretty much like carefree and like not really like that busy. And then I went into lockdown, and I found it really hard to feel like I was actually having a career, like it was actually happening for me.
Yeah.
Just because everything was on like my phone and everything was online, and I was just kind of looking at statistics the whole time, and it just didn't feel kind of real.
Mhm.
um and like the pressures of social media are kind of rubbish anyway, and um it was hard for me to feel encouraged because I had never seen any of these people physically, and like I'd never been able to play any shows. Um, and then yeah, coming out of it, it's just kind of gone from 0 to 100. Like I've been able to play so many shows this summer. Like I feel really lucky that I've just had like the fullest schedule. And that like I'm able to work coming out of like a pandemic. But yeah, it's been so nice being busy and like meeting people and saying thank you to yeah, all of these people that I've been connecting with throughout lockdown, like through the songs. Um yeah, I'm just so excited. It's like the most encouraging, inspiring thing. Yeah, so cool.
Yeah, I feel like it has to be difficult because so much of like connecting with the people that love your music happens at shows. And when you don't have shows, it's like, how do you really feel the gravity of exactly how many people it is that are listening?
Yeah.
Did you find any ways to kind of like build that community feeling before you were able to finally go back to live shows?
Yeah, I feel like there are a couple of things like that I did during the pandemic just to feel like a little bit more connected to people. Um yeah, I mean putting music out and like having social media, even though it is kind of like not always the best thing. Um it was actually really nice at times to have social media and be able to connect with people over like messages, and just to see people sending a message like, oh, I had the similar thing with my best friend. Like I really relate to your song Deep End and stuff like that. Just like nice little things like that was really nice. But I found I like set up this weird little swap shop thing during the
I saw
pandemic. I
that.
called it Yeah, I called it my fifth sister swap shop because I have three sisters and we share all our clothes because we're the same size. And I yeah, we love shopping sustainably, and I found it really tricky to do it during the pandemic. And
Mhm.
especially as I was needing new clothes for like different interviews and photo shoots and filming and stuff, I found it really hard to source the clothes fast enough, and I didn't want to just buy loads of new items because it's not good for the environment.
Mhm.
So I decided to set this swap shop thing where I would upload a picture of an item that I've worn a lot and I wanted to get rid of, but I still think has a lot of wear in it and that I still really love. Um, yeah, I'd upload the item to my social media, and then somebody could send me a picture of one of their old items, and then I'd just pick one and we'd swap. And it was really fun. I like did a few of those through the pandemic, and it was sick. And yeah, I've managed to sort of bring it into like the live show as well. I don't have like a lot of merch yet, so it's been really fun to kind of bring the collection of Fifth Sister Swap Shop clothes to the live shows and have people bring stuff that they want to swap. But yeah, it's been really fun.
That sounds like so much fun. I love that. With merch, I feel like you could do that too with like finding old t-shirts to print on and just keep that going. It
Yeah,
could be fun.
exactly. Yeah, I want to find some kind of way of making it sustainable and not just printing brand new stuff.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I feel like there's probably a lot of like other people's merch maybe as well that gets wasted that I can
Mhm.
maybe use, somehow print my logo on to somebody else's old merch would
That'd
be
be
kind
kind of
of,
cool.
yeah, yeah, I think it would be sick.
That'd be awesome. And you did mention filming a second ago, and I did want to talk about your new video for Friendly Fire also dropped today. So
Hmm.
much good news today. Um, I feel like because a lot of artists that I follow have started doing like storylines through their albums and the videos all connect, my brain starts trying to connect like your videos. And it feels like you're on a journey to somewhere and you're always going somewhere. You're crawling through the vents, you're
Hmm.
going on the back of the truck. Is there any story behind the videos in that sense? Or are they more just like, it's a cool video standalone?
I really like leaving little Easter eggs in the different videos and making them feel like that they're different chapters of the same sort of story,
Mhm.
um, just like how the songs are. But yeah, I guess so, kind of. I mean, like the theme behind the EP was just feeling lost and constantly like kind of trying to find kind of myself and trying to find a sense of some kind of sense of direction. I
Mhm.
found I found that like during the period of time where I wrote the EP, I was living in London and I had no friends here. So I would either like leave the flat to go to the studio to write, or I would leave as much as I could to go on like the train like up to Manchester or to Nottingham or somewhere where my friends were. And then I'd have like the best ever time, and then I'd get on the train in the morning and I'd just feel, I mean, I was always hungover And then I felt like I had like the best ideas on the trains. And I would write like little notes and do little voice memos whilst being kind of like really raw and hungover on the train back to London, and really sad that I was going back to London. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like that to me just feels like the kind of a theme in the EP, just feeling like I'm constantly sort of in transit somewhere, trying to find where I'm going to, and just not really being sure of who I am or where I'm going. So yeah, I guess that's kind of why it feels like I wanted to create some kind of sense of like a journey, and like a story that goes all the way through the videos of the EP. And who knows, like I don't know where I'm supposed to end up at the end of all of these journeys, but yeah, I don't know, it's always fun. And also like just the songs sound to me like a lot of them have really quite rhythmic in this EP, and they just sound to me like transportation. I don't know, they just sound like movement to me. So I think that's why as well there's always a lot going on in the videos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe it's more about how like the journey is also important as well as the destination. It's kind of cool how it's just like signifying that part of growing up and how that's important
for
too.
sure.
But
For sure.
yeah, it's funny because I wanted to ask you about like when you're songwriting, is there a specific situation that's kind of like best for you for songwriting? But it sounds like it's when you're on a train or when you're at the most uncomfortable point of your life. Like, so it doesn't sound like a very ideal environment, but is there anything that you find helps you to get into that space?
Yeah, I mean, like I'm not inspired like quite a lot of the time. I can't remember if I already said, but like I find that like I haven't even got like that much stuff going on in my personal life, like to write stuff about me every single day. Like there's just not that much stuff going on all the time. So I feel like it's okay. I've learned during the pandemic as well, when I felt particularly like uninspired, that it's okay to not, you can't be creative every single day. Like you won't have some new like crazy story to write about every single day. And yeah, I just kind of learned to give myself like a bit of time and to trust in the process, and to kind of be creative when I feel like I'm ready to write about something. And I just can never force it anyway. Like sometimes there's just nothing coming. Like so I think the main thing for me is to just sort of trust in the process, and to sort of strike when the iron's hot and when something is inspiring me. But definitely, yeah, when I'm in an uncomfortable situation or something bad is going down in my life, there's always something to write about then. And I feel like making something like a song that I really love out of like a bad situation is just like really therapeutic for me. And it just really has always kind of been like served that kind of purpose for me, and just been like really important for my mental health to go in and write songs about everything that's going on, just to kind of make sense of everything. But yeah, I definitely weirdly find that when I'm hungover, I can't like filter my thoughts. And like, I don't know what it is. You're just like, so you're kind of raw, and you kind of have to face your like, I don't know what it is about being hungover, but I thought of like the chorus of Falling Asleep at the Wheel, really hungover at my friend's house, trying to like get my stuff together in the morning to leave. And then like, yeah, loads of the ideas for this second EP came like on trains back to London, being hungover. I just, for some reason, I don't know what it is, you just can't, you kind of have to confront everything. And you can't like overthink lyrics either, like you can't think that deeply, so you just have to kind of write how you feel. And yeah, for some reason that seems to work for me.
I feel like it's got to be like the last part of your brain that comes like back online is like your filter or something, like, and it's just not there yet.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, it's like sometimes you can suppress stuff and not think about stuff and think about something else, but when you're hungover, usually it's just like your rawest, kind of like most like vulnerable kind of form, and you just can't like filter anything out. And it all comes spilling out for me anyway.
Hey,
yeah.
you found something that works. I think that's cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you have any other like creative outlets that you kind of use to channel your creativity if you're not in a songwriting headspace?
Do I? I actually don't have a lot. I mean, I write everything down, so I like keep a little diary when I'm away, so that I can write down how I'm feeling about everything, and usually that helps me quite a lot. Um, but no, not really. I think writing is just the thing that I rely on the most for kind of like therapy and for like my own sort of mental like well-being. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Probably nothing else. I don't know. Writing's always been the one thing that's truly helped me, and that I feel like I'm actually not bad at. And like that I find has been sort of the constant thing throughout my kind of life, I guess. But yeah.
Well, I know some of our like creative inspirations are potentially similar, as I am also a fan of the 1975, and the fact that you got to work with Matty on Please Don't Leave Just Yet, I think is so cool. Just like
Yeah.
I listened to the EP and I'm like, oh, I love this artist. I think she's amazing. But my brain never goes, oh, this sounds like the 1975. And then when I hear his voice come in, I go, oh, this could be on I Like It When You Sleep. It's so weird because I never associate it until I hear his voice. And I'm like, I guess
Mhm.
it could fit. Um,
Yeah.
how was
Oh,
it writing?
that's good to hear. That's good to hear. I feel like a writer, I don't know. I feel like that's what I was worried about, something
Mhm.
sounding like a 1975 record. I mean, I love the 1975 so much. Like they wrote pretty much like the soundtrack. I grew up listening to 1975, in my teenage years. So like his writing has influenced me so much. Um, but yeah, working with him was so cool. Like, I write with a lot of different, or I have written with a lot of different writers, and I find it really hard to kind of open up to like random 30-year-old men like I've never met before, that I have probably nothing in common with.
Mhm.
Um, but I feel like writing with, yeah, I feel like I can't do it with a lot of people because it's just uncomfortable and it's like weird and like really unnatural to share that much of
Mhm.
myself, like meeting some random man for the first time, it's like really like not natural. But there was something about working with him, like I think it's because he's also like the front man to the band, and in the right, like when he's writing with other people, he understands that it can be really hard because we, as like the front men or whatever, have to kind of bare our souls and share, like literally spill our guts to like random strangers in a session. But I think he understood that, and he just brought like a really like just like really comfortable vibe to the session, and was just like really nurturing and just really nice, and he just created sort of a nice environment to create in, and I felt like I could just be honest and say whatever I wanted in the song. And yeah, I remember coming away from that day just feeling really good, like really good about myself. I think it was because we wrote it sort of in the gap in the pandemic, when it was like the few weeks in the summer where you could go back to work and like you could work with people in the same room.
Yeah.
So we were in the room together, and I don't know, I hadn't been inspired at all like throughout the first few kind of months of the pandemic, because it was just like I didn't know what was going on. It was just confusing, and
Yeah.
I just didn't really fancy writing. Um, and then I feel like it's really easy for me to like doubt my ability as a writer as well when I haven't written in a long time. I'm like, oh, can I even do it anymore? Like, am I even good? Was that it? Like, is that all I can do? Kind of thing.
Mhm.
And then going into that session was just like so therapeutic, and I just came out feeling really good about myself again. And I don't know what it was about like working with Matty, just made me feel, he was just really lovely and just really encouraging, and just we were loving the song and just like having the best day, just like writing the song and just feeling like we were connecting again with everybody in the room, and it was just so nice. And yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. Sometimes
Yeah.
they say not to meet your idols, but it's nice when it actually works out and
It's
goes
good.
well, meeting people you look up to.
Yeah, for sure. When they're actually nice. And yeah, I think he's just a cool guy. Like he's just really down to like support like lesser known artists. And if he likes the music, then he's just kind of like, I'm here for it. Like, let's write together. What can I do to help you tell your story, kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, it was so cool, and hopefully maybe we'll have some more stuff coming out. Maybe.
That'd
Who
be
knows?
very cool. But
Mhm.
I'm glad he enjoyed the music. I'm enjoying the music. I think we're all enjoying the music. Thank you so
Sick.
much for your time, Holly. It was amazing talking with you, and congratulations again.
Oh, thank you so much, Paige. It was so lovely to speak with you, and yeah, thank you for having me.